especially the third when we think about commercial impact.
Bakare speaking to Bloomberg. She's also founder of boutique consultancy firm B Co. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner. On the Black Business Beat.
The new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card. Earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. I don't believe that it is too early to start thinking about and planning for the future. And I know in these very uncertain times, it's hard to do that, but there's a couple of things that are kind of floating around in the ethos that make a handful of things relatively easy to predict. So I believe that the Democrats are going to get legislative control in the House of Representatives and potentially the U.S. Senate moving past the midterm elections of this year. So this is my belief as of May 13th, 2026. I will go ahead and assume that nobody tries to kill Donald Trump again, because even if they try, he's incredibly lucky. So I'm going to assume that Donald Trump is also going to be still president of the United States into 2027 and maybe even finish this term. Hell, he might even run for a third one. So we know those things, or at least As of right now, those things make sense. Now, keep in mind the Democrats as a party, as an institution, as a legislative body, so the members of the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate that are Democrats, not really agreeing with Donald Trump on, well, anything. There's no bipartisanship whatsoever, including how he is running his administration and his involvement in these foreign military campaigns. Little side note real quick. I was thinking about something. A foreign nation gave Donald Trump a plane, like a full 747 jet, just gave it to him as a tribute, as a gift. I'm not sure what the rationale was, and Trump kept it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is accepting a bribe from a foreign nation, but if I'm thinking about things like that, Donald Trump is accepting money and accepting gifts, and his son-in-law and his daughter are engaged in business-making deals all over the globe, and Donald Trump can follow up with policies that also can be beneficial to that country. It is literally the biggest grift that is going on, and it's happening right in front of our faces, and presidents are not supposed to do that. But the fact that he is doing that, like he could say something like, oh, if you ink this deal with my son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and my daughter, Ivanka, well, then I will remove the tariffs from the goods coming from your country. If you want to import things or export things, rather, to the United States, I, Donald Trump, will remove the tariffs if you sign this land deal, this mining deal, this minerals deal with Jared Kushner and my daughter. And this is allowed to just go on. Also, because I think the federal legislature is just so overwhelmed by so many things, they're just going to have to let Donald Trump get away with a couple of things, including accepting bribes and enriching himself and his family. Now, again, these are things that presidents are not supposed to do. But here's what I was thinking about. Let's say, I need to pick somebody that won't make y'all all mad. Let's make it easy. Let's say Gavin Newsom becomes president of the United States in 2028. Whether he does, whether he does not, I don't know. And Gavin Newsom, for all intents and purposes, is trying to get the country back on track, trying to bring some stability and some sanity back to government. He's picking very high-quality people that are loyal to the Constitution as he's building his administration. This is a huge assumption that Gavin Newsom will get elected president. And let's say Gavin Newsom is doing right by us. He is helping the middle class. He's putting together policies that try to undo some of the horrible things that Donald Trump has done. Let's say Gavin Newsom gets us out of the war and the economy is going and clicking on all cylinders. Let's just say he's doing a very, very good job. Follow me for a moment. I'm going somewhere. And let's say Gavin Newsom inks a deal with, I don't know, Argentina, where we here in the United States are going to agree to purchase, I don't know, produce, fruits and vegetables, peaches and plums from Argentina. We're going to buy them. We're going to import them here to the United States. We're going to have a 10-year deal, a 20-year deal where we are going to buy produce from Argentina so it will provide lower-priced produce here in the United States. Because, we can't necessarily grow in the United States all of the fruits and the vegetables and the produce that we may need for the American consumer in a whole year. Follow me. I'm going somewhere now. Gavin Newsom makes this deal with Argentina, and for the most part, it's a great deal. We get this overabundance of fruits and vegetables coming from Argentina, meaning our prices of fruits and vegetables are going to go down because we inked this deal with Argentina. Argentina loves it because it keeps their farmers farming for the most part. The farmers in Argentina love this deal. And let's just say Argentina says, hey, Gavin Newsom, thank you for inking this deal with our country where you, the United States, are going to import the strawberries and the blueberries and the raspberries and all of the berries, helping out our Argentinian farmers. And Argentina is going to stand and make a lot of money. It's going to help their economy. Now, remember, this is all just a scenario, but I want to gauge your temperature on something. And let's say, because of this deal that we have with Argentina, it's good for them, it's good for us, and there also might be 50 such economic and trade deals that President Gavin Newsom might also be involved in. I'm just giving you one hypothetical. And let's say Argentina says, hey, Gavin Newsom, to reward you for helping us in agreeing to import Argentinian produce, we want to give you an airplane. I think Gavin Newsom should keep it. Technically, it's illegal. Violates the emoluments clause. The president should not be able to personally enrich themselves while in office. It's illegal. And not only is it illegal, it's unconstitutional. You know how they say the Trumpers will use Joe Biden for an excuse? Like if Donald Trump falls asleep in a meeting, well, Joe Biden, he did too. If gas prices continue to rise, a lot of times the Trumpers will say, well, under Joe Biden, gas was a lot of money too. We might talk about inflation going up and wages remaining stagnant. Their best argument is, well, Joe Biden too. If Gavin Newsom in this hypothetical situation, this is just me going on this long fantasy and predicting the future and looking at some of the things that Donald Trump has done that will now become a permanent part of the presidency, because if these things, these emoluments clause violations were not nipped in the bud, they're going to last forever, meaning Trump did it. Trump accepted a plane. Trump did it too. I wouldn't even be upset, even though I know it's illegal. We are not going to be able to revert the American presidency. This is something we just have to understand. And it's going to change our voting behavior. It's got to change how we look at politics. There are things that Donald Trump has been able to get away with that will be permanent parts of the presidency. And if there's a Democratic majority in the U.S. Senate and in the U.S. House of Representatives, and Gavin Newsom is president, they won't even investigate Gavin Newsom because they didn't investigate Trump. Do you see where I'm going with this? There are things that Trump has permanently changed. A lot of them are illegal and unconstitutional, but they haven't been challenged, and so they likely will persist, and we just got to be okay with it. We have to be okay with it. At least from this point forward, I don't know what happens 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, if we still have a republic. That some of the things that Trump has done will be a permanent part of the presidency. So when we elect people into the future, we have to be okay with them doing illegal and unconstitutional things and getting away with it, especially if one party has full control of the government. And while that is a frightening scenario, because we may get another Trump, and I know we will because history is going to repeat itself, this is one of those permanent things that's going to ingrain itself in our democracy. And there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff that we're just going to give presidents passes to because, Trump did it. Why can't I accept a plane? If I ever ran for president, which I never would, and if I won, even less likely, and I did a real great deal, an economic deal where it helps Americans and American voters and American constituents and American taxpayers, and it boosts the American economy, and it's good for whoever our foreign partner is, and that foreign country is like, Sherwin, thank you for this deal. Thank you for agreeing to trade with us and buying our products here in this country. Can we give you a plane? I'd accept a plane. You think I'd say no? No, I can't. Oh, you shouldn't have, Argentina, a plane for me. If they show up with a plane with President Sherwin Hughes on the side, I'd take it. Now, you're not supposed to, but Trump did it, just like they used Barack Obama as an excuse. Well, what about when Obama did it? Some of those same people who, Republicans and Donald Trump supporters, that are giving Donald Trump a pass on all of these illegal and egregious, like the financial things, like the grifts. The same people, his voters, his supporters, that don't mind that he is doing all of those things are going to be the most vocal critics when a Democrat does the exact same thing. So I know that something like that is coming. We have a YouTube poll up. I want to gauge your temperature on something. I got some details I'm going to share with you. Do you think that we're headed toward an economic recession? Yes or no? So if you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search 1017 The Truth. Of course, hit subscribe. You'll be able to view the live stream of this program, participate in the very lively and sometimes explicit, even X-rated YouTube chat, and you'll also be able to vote in our YouTube poll, because I'm going to delve into the future. What does the future look like, and how do we begin to prepare ourselves for the future in this country? We are not going to be stuck in this current moment forever. In fact, we are heading toward these midterm elections, which I would argue, like they always do, this is the most important election of our lifetime. So do you think that we're headed toward an economic recession? Because in the event the Democrats get control of the federal legislature, which is looking more and more likely, economic policy will stall. So if we head into recession, just hypothetical, I'm not saying we're in one, I'm not saying we're not in one. That part of the future I cannot yet predict. And this country begins to lose jobs and lose even more manufacturing, and layoffs become even more egregious than they are right now. Economic policy agreements will never happen. So if we are heading toward a recession in this year, in this moment, so I want to ask you, if you believe we're heading toward a recession, we're going to be stuck in it for a long time, because I just don't see a newly minted Democratic majority in the House and the Senate agreeing with Donald Trump on any economic policy that could get us out of a recession, assuming we're headed into one. And they're going to impeach him on probably 30 different clauses. So curious, what do you think? Are we headed toward an economic recession? You know what they say, if your neighbor loses his or her job, it's a recession. If you lose your job, it's a depression. So go on over to YouTube and cast your vote. I also want to demystify and unpack the proposed plan that Governor Evers worked out with the Republican majorities in the state Senate and the Wisconsin State Assembly to essentially spend down our current state government surplus. I'm going to give you my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that, and whether I think that's a good idea or a bad idea. I know some of my colleagues have touched on this proposal, which may pass. I'm not sure. And if it passes, the state legislature, Governor Evers will sign it. It's going to give some money to schools. It's going to do a couple of other investments. It's going to give you as an individual a $300 rebate. Families, I believe, will get $600 based on your 2024 tax filing. Do you think it's a good idea to spend the surplus down that way? And was it a good idea for Governor Tony Evers to work out this deal with the Republicans, knowing that Tony Evers is not even going to be governor, to see the impacts of that surplus spent down? He won't even be around to realize it. So let's talk about that and everything else under the sun, because you're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship, because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
considering gas prices are going up, even though that doesn't really affect me. Well, it will. It doesn't affect me directly because I'm not going to the gas pump and buying the gasolines. As we move further through the summer travel season, people are taking trips and vacations. That's going to increase the demand for petroleum. Some of you are going to get on airplanes. Not Spirit Airlines, though. You're not going to get on Spirit because they're bankrupt. That is going to also increase the demand for jet fuel, and flights are going to get more expensive. A lot of the goods that we receive are shipped. They are trucked, whether it be UPS or Amazon, the Postal Service. Things enter the nation from the different ports, and they have to get distributed to your Walmarts, to your Targets. Those trucks run on diesel fuel, and of course, diesel prices have really gone through the roof recently, and there's no sign of slowing, and so everything is going to get much more expensive, and that potentially could tip us into an economic recession. Businesses are going to have to cut spending. You're going to have to reduce your fleet. You're going to have to reduce your number of employees. I saw Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley being interviewed by a reporter. I guess the increase in gas prices is really hurting Milwaukee County because Milwaukee County has a lot of vehicles. Even things like snow removal is going to get more expensive, and cities and counties don't budget for 25, a 30, or a 40% increase in gas prices. And so whatever money we have budgeted to put fuel in our snow plows and our sanitation vehicles, et cetera, all of that is going to get expensive, and our budgets are likely to get blown. So there's going to be this cascading economic effect that I believe is coming our way unless something dramatic happens overnight, and I just don't believe it. I think that this war is going to be much more prolonged and protracted than anyone ever would have guessed, and the economic consequences of this war. Now, we got to figure out, is it worth it or not? Apparently, Iran was going to get a nuclear bomb, even though Iran said, if y'all keep bombing us, United States of America, we're going to further accelerate our nuclear program. Well, that ain't good, especially if we have the solvency of the nation's economy at risk. Keeping in mind, I do believe the Democrats may have a majority in the House of Representatives. That's probably a foregone conclusion. But if they get a majority in the U.S. Senate, Donald Trump's political future hangs in the balance because there's going to be a lot of impeachment papers filed. And, of course, there will be lots of hearings and lots of subpoenas. At the same time, the likelihood that Democrats who will control the legislature, I believe, if I'm predicting the future accurately, are going to have a very tough time agreeing with Donald Trump on economic policies that could get us out of a recession that he is, at least in part, responsible for helping to create. So we have this budget surplus here in the state of Wisconsin, which is typically a very, very good thing. Now, this goes back to an overabundance of ARPA dollars, the American Rescue Plan Act, where states got a whole bunch of money for additional services and just to kind of make up for a lot of revenue that was lost during the COVID pandemic. We got a whole bunch of money. One of the things that happens when you have political agreement between the executive branch in Washington, D.C., the president, and governors is the transfer of money. So if Wisconsin is a blue state and our electoral votes went to Joe Biden in 2020, which they did, Joe Biden gets elected president. Joe Biden will reward with the very fat purse of the federal government those states whose electoral votes help him become president. That's politics, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes we talk about policy. Policy is a bill becoming a law. Politics is, hey, if you scratch my back and do this for me, I'm going to do some things for you. They are two wheels that spin sometimes clockwise, sometimes counterclockwise, but that's it. Joe Biden could have even said to Governor Evers during the campaign in 2020, hey, Governor Evers, if I can win Wisconsin and if I can become president, I'm going to give your state a whole bunch of money and you can do whatever you want with it. I'm basically going to give you some federal tax dollars and you can spend it how you wish, which is good for Tony Evers because if you are the governor and your state has a surplus, you get to write checks to this group, this organization. You get to give more money to the schools, which makes the teachers union happy. And the teachers union, when they're happy, then they're going to campaign on your behalf. It all kind of works out, you see. So we have this surplus. And we have this rule here in Wisconsin where the governor has a lot of latitude over surplus dollars. He doesn't need approval from the legislature. In fact, our Republican-controlled legislature tried to pass a law that says you have to get permission from us, the legislature, Governor Evers, before you can spend any state surplus money. Obviously, that legislation didn't go anywhere. So there's some ideas of how we're going to spend this government surplus. Personally, I think it's a bad idea. And I know that there are a number of Democrats. In fact, I'm not sure if any Democrats are going to vote for this plan that Governor Evers came up with while working with the opposition party. I think it's a terrible idea, and I'm going to give you some real reasons as to why spending our surplus this way is awful if we are predicting the future. Governor Evers is not running again. The makeup of the Wisconsin state legislature is likely going to change. Right now, the Democrats only need 5 seats in the Wisconsin State Assembly to get the majority. 5 seats out of 99. And considering how poorly the Republicans are doing essentially everywhere, and we can blame a lot of the economy on them and the potential recession that we may or may not be in or moving into. We can blame the Republicans on that. We can blame Donald Trump for getting us in a war. We can blame Donald Trump for fuel prices going up, maybe even the price of eggs. I find it ironic that no one is talking about eggs, but in 2024, everybody was talking about eggs like you're making all these omelets. Omelets are delicious, by the way. You can put many things in omelets. I like omelets a lot. If we are headed toward this recession, spending our rainy day money right now is a bad idea. It's bad both policy and it's bad politics. Tony Evers, leave that surplus money for a new governor, which we're going to get. Because Evers is not running again. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Tom Tiffany. I hope it's not him. Or one of the 13, 15, 11 Democrats that are running to replace Governor Evers. Why spend the surplus money now, our rainy day money? It's like we paid all our bills and we still got like $3 billion in the bank. That's got to be a good feeling. But why spend it now, especially if we may be headed toward a recession? Why would you spend your surplus now? Why wouldn't Governor Evers let the next governor and the next legislature, which is likely to be Democratic control, let them figure out what to do with the surplus? Now, if you're a Republican, this is genius because your party is failing. Your constituents are suffering. And if you spend the surplus money now, then you are taking away, as a Republican now, because they are playing politics. If you spend the surplus now, then you take away the ability for the next incoming governor, who I hope is a Democrat, and the next legislature, which likely in Wisconsin will be controlled by Democrats. You take the surplus away from them. Also keeping in mind, we don't know where we're going to be as a state come 2027. We don't know how bad the economic recession is going to be. And states are impacted in a very unique way. So are cities, towns, and counties when we're in an economic recession. So that's why I wanted to ask the question via YouTube whether you all believe we're headed toward a recession, because if we are, and I have reason to believe that prices and costs are going to continue to go up, tariffs do still exist in some form or fashion, gas prices, fuel prices are going to go out of control, grocery prices are going to get higher. Anything that needs to be delivered, anything that needs to be shipped, anything that needs to be flown or driven via truck, all going to get much more expensive, and these costs are going to get passed to the consumer. And if we are, in fact, in an economic recession, we've seen just a number of layoffs. If less people are working and costs are going up, then you get this heavy reliance on social services. Now, some social services and benefits come from the federal government, but keep this in mind, too. If less people are working, less people are paying income taxes. And those government programs that people need in times of unemployment, in times of, increasing poverty, there's going to be less money for the programs that people are going to need if, in fact, we are headed toward an economic recession. Counties are extensions of state government. A lot of the social services that exist in Milwaukee County are funded by the state and are funded by state government. In fact, damn near everything that counties do are extensions of state government just delivering those services at a local level. That's what county governments essentially do. They take the biennial budget that's created in Madison, they divvy it up between the 72 counties, and we have different agencies. We have transportation agencies and the Department of Aging, and we have infrastructure agencies and all these other agencies that are funded by state government. So if we're in an economic recession, I just want this to make sense to y'all so we can be much more prepared for an uncertain future. If more people are losing their jobs, which is likely to happen because businesses and companies, they got to cut costs. One of the first things they do is they reduce their labor force. That's less money coming into the state. That's less tax revenue, less sales tax revenue, because if you don't have a job, you're buying less stuff. If you're buying less stuff, the state of Wisconsin is going to get less money in sales tax. If less people are working, even 10,000, 15,000, 30,000 people. And on a state of 5.8 million, that's usually a drop in the bucket. But you take 30, 40, 50,000 people and you unemploy those people, the amount of money that they would be paying in state income taxes all but disappears. And there's going to be a heavy reliance by those people on the social services and government services that are provided by counties when people are facing hardship. So you would use the surplus to maintain the funding of the social services that counties deliver. But if you spend the surplus now and we head toward recession, we won't have any money to supplement those social services that people are going to need. I'm going to take a break, come back, and give you even more detail on this. The Republicans screwed us. And this is a very, very bad deal, because the additional money that we will need to keep state government going and to keep the flow of money to counties, the counties that deliver the social services to people in need, if we're in a recession or heading toward one, the need will be greater, but the revenue for those programs will be gone. We're going to get a new governor and a whole new legislature. Why spend the surplus now? Just wait literally like 9 months and then figure out, because then we'll have a better idea of where the economy is. I just think it's a real bad idea. I'm going to give you the details of how they plan on spending the money, which I'm going to say right now, I fundamentally disagree with it. And some of the Democrats that have spoken out and said that they are not going to vote for this spending down of our surplus, I'm 100% on their side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
From office lunches to family celebrations, Cousin Subs has the crowd-pleasing catering you need. Choose from customizable party boxes, individual box lunches, fresh-baked cookies, and our classic party chips. Everything you need to satisfy any size group, big or small. Ordering is easy online or on the Cousins app, so you can focus on the fun, not the food. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
On Thursday, May 28th, join Sharp for the 10th annual Unwrapped MKE from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3rd Street Market Hall. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food. Top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based education programs, serving thousands of urban elementary students in schools throughout Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I assure you, if we had an outgoing Republican governor and we had this same state government surplus, and that outgoing Republican governor had an opposition legislature, so an outgoing Republican governor with a Democratic legislature, and there was a surplus, so basically the opposite of what's going on right now, that outgoing Republican governor would not be making a deal with the Democrats in an election year, because that outgoing Republican governor knows that there might be a Democratic replacement, and you do not want to give the opposition party some kind of advantage. Imagine a new governor here in the state of Wisconsin, which we're going to get. I just don't know who the hell it's going to be. I can't even speculate. I can tell you who might do well in the Democratic primary, but that means nothing in Wisconsin. Please bear in mind that Wisconsin is a red state. We are right now. Until further notice, we will be. Hell, we might be a red state in 2028. I don't know. It comes down to what about 30,000 people decide on election day, and it's too hard to predict. But a new governor and a new legislature that has just under $2 or $3 billion to spend can be a tremendous advantage for that administration. Because you got to hit the ground running, right? Tony Evers has been governor for a while. Whoever the next governor is going to be, they got to make a good impression, don't they? And if we happen to be in an economic recession, which I believe there's almost no way to avoid it, I know the consumer spending is still really, really high. That's one of those indicators that they look at to determine a recession. For some reason, people just keep spending money. Where are y'all getting this money from? Are you all buying dope? Selling dope? Like, what's happening with all of the money that people are spending? Now, credit card debt is probably somewhere in the trillions, but the full-blown recession like the one that we had in 2007, 2008, we have not quite reached those levels yet, because then consumer spending was way, way down. People are still spending money. So assuming that the Democrats get control, I know I'm mixing and matching Washington, D.C. politics with state politics, but they literally are one and the same. Let's go ahead and give the Democrats the majority in the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives after these midterm elections. They're not going to agree with Trump on anything. They're going to try and remove Trump from office. I would say that that's what the Democrats' priority is going to be, because dude is just gone. He's gone so far. He's like, hey, let's stage another assassination attempt on me. Like, that's how far that Donald Trump is going. Like, no one is stopping him. No one is stopping him. We're in another war because of him. All the economic things that he promised, that he lied to everybody. Everybody, even some of his most vulnerable constituents that believed in the fact that he was a businessman, they're screwed probably more than anybody else. And here's what's crazy. Some of those Trump constituents who live in rural America, who are blue collar or working class, the only ones that can save them are Democrats. Ain't that wild? Because those are natural Democratic constituencies anyway. When populations and demographics started to change, they're not really changing much here in Wisconsin, because Wisconsin is still a very white state. People shed their working class identity, their middle income, middle class identity for racial and ethnic identities, and have followed them into the ballot box. Rural, up north, working class, middle class white folks would vote their economic interest. Now they're voting their race. Now they're voting for the candidate that wants to remove the Mexicans from the country and do God knows what with black people. Will eliminate DEI. That is where their political priorities are, instead of voting for economic policies that will save their farms, save their mortgages, save their businesses, and save the little bit of money that people have saved in their bank accounts. So if we are headed toward a recession, Washington, D.C. is not going to get us out of it. In Wisconsin, we could provide some temporary relief with the surplus that we have, because we're going to need it. If more people get laid off in the state of Wisconsin, this is the most important thing to know about this whole scenario. Less people are working. Less people working, less money they are spending. Less people working, less income taxes they are paying, less revenue for state government. Less sales taxes, less revenue for state government. Less revenue for state government because people are spending less and more people are unemployed is less money for county services that people rely on during times of economic recession. And we are spending the money that could potentially be a stopgap between failed economic policy in Washington, D.C., and an economic recession that could really gut the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Republicans in the Assembly say they have the votes to pass a $1.8 billion budget surplus spending plan, but the path is more uncertain in the Senate ahead of a scheduled vote today. The plan would use money from the state's budget surplus to send rebate checks to Wisconsin residents who file taxes in 2024. Married couples would receive $600, while single filers would receive $300. Does that move the needle? Does a one-time payment? I'm curious. $300? I can spend $300 instantly. Is that enough, considering how much more you're paying? Like just gas. And I think our utilities are going up too. We Energies, they come up with ideas like, oh yeah, we need to raise our rates. And I bring We Energies up because they have a monopoly on our utilities. Like, you can't shop around like, oh, I don't like We Energies prices this month. Let me buy my electricity and my natural gas to heat my home from another utility company. No, you don't have a choice. You know, in winter, even though it's not quite summer yet, remember, we're thinking ahead. We're trying to predict the future so we can put ourselves in the best possible position for very uncertain times in 2027 and beyond. You know, in wintertime, our utility prices or the spending on heating our homes goes up. Okay? And if We Energies is also raising our rates, now the Public Service Commission has got to give permission to We Energies to raise our rates. But if we're in a recession and there's less people spending and less people working and there's less money coming into the state government because less income tax and less sales tax, and some of the programs that people may rely on that come through county government are underfunded and are getting cut. At the same time, our utilities are going up. We're talking about a disaster. The whole reason of having the budget surplus, and here's what's crazy, we've had it for like 5 years. Why are you spending it in an election year where the makeup of the legislature is going to change and we're going to get a new governor? The plan would use money from the state's budget surplus to send rebate checks to Wisconsin residents who filed taxes in 2024. Married couples, $600. Single filers would receive $300. Taxpayers would not need to fill out any forms or sign up to receive the refund. If the bill passes both chambers and is signed by Governor Evers, the goal is to send the checks out no later than September 15th. The proposal also includes tax cuts for overtime workers and tip earners, eliminating state income tax on cash, tips, and overtime pay. So that's a Donald Trump proposal. That was something that was in the big, beautiful bill. And that is in this surplus spend down. So you got Governor Evers agreeing with things from Donald Trump's political agenda. Let me also say this. Donald Trump has got the majority in the Senate and the House. No, not for very long, but he has it. Dude only signed one bill into law, and that's a big, beautiful bill, and it's been a disaster. Do you know how we would hammer the Democrats if they had a majority? Donald Trump has got a majority on the Supreme Court, the House of Representatives, and the Senate, and passed one bill. If the Democrats were in the same scenario, we would just be dragging them, because Democrats have an obligation and responsibility to take care of poor people, take care of working class people, middle income people, working families, minorities who might be facing discrimination, et cetera. Like, that's what the Democrats do. The Democrats can't just sit around with a majority, a super majority like that, and not do anything, but the Republicans can. It's just insane to me. It's like we have this crazy double standard. This is the best example of a double standard I could ever give. Like Barack Obama, when he had his majority only for 2 years, his supermajority, he didn't do enough. Dude passed the Affordable Care Act. But people are saying, oh, he should have did more for black people. That was probably about the most you could have done for black people. Oh, I'm going to talk about Barack Obama, too. I know y'all don't like when I talk about Barack and Michelle, but Michelle is tripping again. Why don't Michelle leave my dude alone? Why doesn't she just... I'm going to have to save that for later on in the show. An additional $650 million would go towards school funding and property tax relief, with $350 million of that amount designated to lower property taxes, directing more money to K-12 public schools. So the property tax relief, I suppose that's decent. I'm not really sure what kind of a dent $350 million would make in property tax relief, because I know that in the city of Milwaukee, almost all of our assessments went up. All of us are paying more in property taxes, also because of a referendum that y'all voted for. I didn't vote for that school funding referendum, giving permission for our property taxes to go up to give MPS more money. I was looking at some information. You know what the biggest difference is between a free African American and a black person that was in chattel slavery? Now, there's 1,001 differences, obviously, but there's one that is core and that is key. One fundamental difference that separates a free person from a slave. And I can give you ideas and examples of how we have modern day slavery, because some of y'all have got to work as many hours as you possibly can. Some of y'all need a second job and you need a third job. And when you have to work all these different jobs and all these different hours, you're not spending time with family. You're not spending time with your kids. You're not helping and investing in your community. You're not volunteering for greater causes, because you got to work. You got to work weekends. You got to work nights. You got to work holidays. How is that not slavery? But the biggest difference between a free person and a slave is literacy. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read. I got a figure here that says 30% of the African Americans in the city of Milwaukee can't read. Functionally illiterate. Remember, the biggest difference between a free person and a slave, and I think we say just like education, like, oh, education is a big difference. If you narrow it down, it's literacy. Black children can't read. What kind of future do you think that they have? What kind of participation are you going to have in the economy if you can't read and if you cannot comprehend? It is just an unmitigated disaster. And the district has got a $1.6 billion budget. They're going to ask for another referendum. And we have a disproportionate number of our children that can't read. Wherever these children are, when they graduate from high school, literacy-wise, statistically, that's where they're going to stay forever. So hold that thought. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue the conversation. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we don't leave success to chance. We're designed for it. With strong support, high expectations, and a team committed to excellence, our educators turn belief into outcomes every day. If you believe every child deserves an excellent education, join Milwaukee College Prep. Apply today. Visit mkeprep.com/jobs.
It happens without warning. And when it's a truck crash, everything changes. Trucking and insurance companies know how to protect themselves after a crash. Call Gruber Law Offices and let us protect your rights. Never take on the insurance company alone. We've got the knowledge, skills, and resources to fight and win. And you pay nothing up front to get the help you need. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Want to save money on energy bills? With free tools from We Energies, you're in control. Manage your energy use with easy tips. Earn rebates on home upgrades. Calculate your energy use. Create savings goals. View and compare bills, and more. With We Energies, the energy info you need is at your fingertips. Save your way at weenergies.com/simple savings or download the app. We Energies. Simple steps, real savings.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Assembly Republicans call the plan a win for taxpayers. Why is our Democratic governor giving the Assembly Republicans a win? They're about to lose their majority because of their bad planning and bad policy, and because of their adherence to Donald Trump's political ideology. Maybe I need to run for governor. Can y'all raise me like $10 million in 3 months? Because I'll do it. I'll run for governor. Nah, I don't know. I wouldn't be fair. Like, I wouldn't take phone calls from probably 35 or 40 county executives if I became governor. I just wouldn't talk to them. And that's not nice. I'd have to work with them some kind of way, but I wouldn't want to. Some days I wouldn't even go to work. Like, I don't want to be governor today. I'll go play golf or something. Assembly Republicans call the plan a win for taxpayers. Quote, I think anytime you can do such big, substantial tax relief packages like this, It's a win for Wisconsinites, especially when we're able to do it in a bipartisan way, said Pewaukee Republican Representative Adam Nyland. Neither side got everything they wanted, but at the end of the day, we feel very comfortable with where we are at. The Republicans in the state of Wisconsin need something to brag about. They need to say that they accomplished something. Because if you look at national politics, I would argue that Speaker Mike Johnson and his caucus have not done things that positively impact the American people or the American economy. I don't believe they have. So if Republicans who are worried about losing their majority in the Assembly, if they can use this spending plan and spending down the surplus as something that they have done that puts real money in people's pockets. I don't know if you guys know this. Democrats don't do this, but Republicans do. Whenever they're in crazy, mad trouble, they cut you a check. Whenever Republicans are underwater when it comes to approvals, I mean, like really, really, really bad shape. Trump is different. Trump doesn't care about literally any of you. I mean, he loves the poorly educated. And rightfully so, because you can't get away with doing what Trump does when the constituents are smart. And that's just plain as day. You can't get away with this. The stealing and the grifting and the fake assassination attempts and accepting airplanes from foreign countries and not caring about the price of gas and not caring about the tariffs and not caring that you're putting us into a war that we can't win. If you have really smart people in your base, you can't get away with this. When George Bush stole the election in 2000, and he stole it, you remember them tax rebate checks we got? Bill Clinton and Al Gore left us like $250 billion budget surplus. Federal government had paid all its bills. I don't even think we had a deficit at the time. Had $250 billion. Now, 26 years ago, $250 billion is a lot of money. That's a lot more money then than it is right now. George Bush knew that he stole that election, and he spent that surplus down by giving us tax rebates. And what did he do after that? Got us in the September 11th war. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth's Community Spotlight this Wednesday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We will be speaking with Nicole Lorino, the 2026 chair for March for Babies. She will discuss how March for Babies brings families and caregivers together to support healthier moms, stronger babies, and life-saving NICU care through the March of Dimes. Again, that is the Community Spotlight this Wednesday with the March of Dimes at 3:57 p.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 19th.
Fly ball center field. It's hit well. Grisham back. It is gone!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
Got him swinging. Threw him a curveball. It's 11 Ks for Mizorowski.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in May 19th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee or check your local listings to watch the game.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. All across the country, we provide resources and support in the fight against Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement.
The Parkinson's Foundation is dedicated to improving care and advancing research towards a cure.
And when you call our helpline, you'll speak to a real person who can help you find the right information. Because while living with Parkinson's can be challenging, there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one,
when Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Love me, love me, love me, love me, oh baby, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Trying to demystify this budget surplus spending and why I believe it's a really bad idea, because why not leave that budget surplus for the new governor, for potentially a Democratic majority in the Wisconsin state legislature, because I think the Democrats will do a much better job of investing that money or leaving it there, right? We need to have an additional amount of money for state government to rely on if we are headed toward an economic recession. So that's the question that I asked you today on YouTube. Do you believe that we are headed toward a recession? 95% of you say yes. And I think that 95% of you are 100% correct. There is no way that corporate America is all of a sudden going to go on a hiring spree. For the last year and probably 3 months, there has been an orgy of layoffs. And I just don't see a flip of the switch anytime soon where they're going to say, oh, wow, we laid off tens of thousands of people from the corporate workforce. Let's hire them all back and then pay them more wages. I just don't see that happening. So they're voting on the budget surplus plan today. Don't know if it's going to pass or not. I know a few Democrats have been vocal, especially those that are running for governor. Senator Kelda Roys, she voiced her opposition. I saw an interview, or I think she just went live. Francesca Hong, who's a state assembly representative representing Madison, she voiced her opposition to it. It's just bad ideas. It's bad policy. It's bad politics. The Republicans see it as a win. Why are we giving them wins? They don't give Democrats wins. Republicans will be able to run on this in the fall, because right now they had nothing to run on. And the checks, the timing is perfect. You'll receive your check, assuming that this proposal passes and the governor signs it. You'll receive it September 15th. At the same time, you are going to be inundated by political commercials. The Republicans are going to spend a lot of money to convince you that Tom Tiffany is the best option. The check is going to hit. You're going to get your little $600 for married couples. And when I say $600 for married couples, the wives are going to get that $600. And then $300 for single filers. I can already see the Tom Tiffany commercials right now. Hey, you're welcome. My Republican Party just put money in your pocket, money in your bank accounts. Giving that money back to you, or putting money in schools, because that's a part of the spend down plan as well, putting money into the common school fund. There's something with no tax on tips, which is a total Donald Trump big beautiful bill idea and proposal that didn't exactly work out the way people thought it was going to. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. and then property tax relief. Like, that's a solid plan for the Republicans to run on. Whether they did any of those things and whether people are going to actually feel a noticeable difference, and maybe they will, I don't know, because we might be further into this recession that 95% of you believe that we are in right now, and what the Republicans are going to pitch to voters. Now, remember, they only got to convince 30,000 people. That is why this is so nerve-wracking. Our statewide elections, whether it be the Electoral College, which is decided by the popular vote here in Wisconsin, or who we vote for governor, it's between 25 and 27,000 votes. I think the largest margin that we've had in the last few cycles. You know who used to landslide Wisconsin? Obama, the black dude. I almost want to bring him back, or some version of him, but I don't think we'll ever have another. Like, you'll never have another Michael Jordan. Obama was the Jordan. He did the unthinkable. Even Europe was like, what? Y'all elected a black fella? Huh. Europe made the slave trade illegal before we did. Obama gets elected in 2008, sworn in, inaugurated in 2009. January of 2009. Do you know that Obama won a Nobel Peace Prize? One of the reasons why I think Donald Trump, his little wee-wee gets stiff thinking about getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Ain't nobody going to give Donald Trump no Nobel Peace Prize. But Obama won one. Do you remember this? Obama didn't do anything except get elected as a black person in the United States of America. Here's what they said. Because, like, a Nobel Peace Prize, it's hard to get. You have to invent, like, electricity or something. Like, you have to invent more water. You have to do something real big. You got to do Dr. King stuff. And probably get assassinated, too. Like, that usually comes with it. Because you have to do something so monumental that it shifts global society. So Barack Obama, just to give you an example of how goated Obama is. Michelle keep messing with him. I think he need to file on her ass. That's what I think. I know some of y'all don't like when I say that, but wait till I get to the details of what she's tripping. Why you always got to trip, Michelle? Why can't we just work this out now? I feel like I need to be their marriage counselor. So Obama gets the Nobel Peace Prize, and I remember watching the press conference. In fact, I used to play his acceptance speech. I used to play it all the time in WNOV because he didn't even understand why they would give it to him. He didn't do anything. In his mind, he hadn't accomplished anything yet. Like, he hadn't put together his legislative agenda. He didn't do the Affordable Care Act yet. He didn't kill Osama bin Laden yet. Like, he had all that stuff hanging over his head. The banks were still in trouble. Our automakers were going bankrupt. He didn't fix none of that stuff yet when he got the Nobel Peace Prize. They said that because he was going to repair broken relationships with other countries, that's why they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize. He hadn't been in office long enough to repair anything. But they recognize this committee of people that decide who gets the Nobel Peace Prize because they know America, quite honestly, better than we do. We don't really know American history that well. As Americans, we don't know it. But Europe does know it. In fact, they look at the United States as a part of what their future is going to be. That's why myself and Dr. Ken did several interviews with the British Broadcasting Corporation ahead of the 2024 election, because the folks over in Europe wanted to know, in battleground state Wisconsin, particularly folks in Milwaukee and people that engage with voters and engage with residents and citizens in Milwaukee like black talk show hosts do. We got interviewed several times because Europe was worried that Donald Trump was going to pull the United States out of NATO. Like, talk about presence of mind and forethought. Talk about wanting to be able to predict the future. So they scheduled interviews with myself and Dr. Ken. You know how crazy it was to see the damn BBC camera crew walking around here at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and we got some big brands here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of ESPN. I don't know if you ever heard of TMJ. Yeah, TMJ, the radio station. TMJ, the Milwaukee Journal. The same TMJ that's also our television station. So you got the BBC camera crew walking around the 3rd Street Market Hall, and everybody's like, oh, they must be here for TMJ. No, they must be here for ESPN. Like, no, they was looking for me and Dr. Kent. Oh, hello. We're from the British Broadcasting Corporation. Can you point us in the direction of... you mean TMJ? No. I believe his name is Sherwin Hughes. I believe that's him. Oh, you should have seen how disappointed my colleagues were that they weren't going to be broadcast into 500 million European homes. No, those were crazy times. Yeah, I thought Kamala was going to do it, but, whatever. Obama gets a Nobel Peace Prize because they knew how impossible it should be for a black person to get elected. And I don't know if we could do it again. I don't know if I'm going to go through the stress because the country feels like it's more outwardly racist. Are you guys familiar with... Actually, you might have to help me with this dude's name. Chud something. Chud
the Builder.
That's him. Holy smokes. I'm assuming you're familiar with what he does.
I'm familiar. I'm just surprised why black people are so mesmerized by this guy. It's not that impressive.
It's not about being impressive. This is not the rabbit hole I want to go down. It's more disappointing. So for those of you that don't know, and I don't blame you for not knowing. In fact, me having this conversation about him is now going to get you to know somebody that you otherwise wouldn't know. So here's what he does. He's, I guess I'd call him a content creator. He actually got arrested. I think in the last 24 hours he got arrested. Not because of what he does making his content. I guess he walked out of a restaurant and didn't pay his bill, so he got arrested. So Chud the Builder walks around with a camera in Nashville, Tennessee, calls black people the N-word with the hard ER ending, says it right to them, says it to individual black people, says it to groups of black folks, right? And then, of course, imagine the anger, but they don't do anything to them. And then when they don't do anything, I'm going to give you a reason why they don't do anything. When they don't do anything, when they don't attack him and kill him, like, wouldn't you expect calling a group of African Americans, and 99% of the time it's black men, groups of black men, calling them the N-word and recording their reactions, recording Chud the Builder calling these groups of, and these are men that he does not know, obviously, calling them the N-word and then recording their reactions, you would think that they'd get really angry and want to do something to him. And when they don't do anything, and they never do, he says, oh, y'all are chimping out. Like, talk about a double whammy insult. Now, obviously, it's stupid and it's something that we shouldn't fall for. We shouldn't take the bait. But I've always been under the impression, because I know what I have done when a white person has called me the N-word and they use the hard ER ending and they mean it. Because when they use it, it can only be a one-way directional reference to the last thing that an African American heard before their neck broke while they were getting lynched. So when you think of the word in that context, when they say it, that's what images are conjured up in my mind. That's the last thing that they hear before their necks break when they're getting lynched. And so I've dealt with it in a number of ways when someone has called me that word or called anybody in my circle that word. We made sure that we showed the person that called us that word that it's not in your best interest to ever do that. All right, so Chud the Builder, walking around Nashville, calling groups of black people, black men in particular, the N-word, and they don't do anything. And when they don't do anything, he says they're chimping out. But here's the thing, he's got a pistol in his pocket. But I thought that when somebody uses that word, that we will respond in a way that discourages them. And what I'm starting to see and what I think he's trying to communicate, and then I think there's a larger message here. We'll still let white folks talk to us any old kind of way. But if a black person says something offensive to another black person, because here's the thing, when a black person uses the N-word to another black person, there's a way in which you can use it where it can be offensive, but it's in the context of the larger disagreement, the larger argument, right? We will kill each other in a second. We'll know that the other person is armed. Maybe we're armed too. But if black people, black men in particular, if we don't know each other and we have an argument, we have a beef, just watch the news or look at the news stories every single day. Look at your social media feeds. We are blowing each other's brains out for a lot less. Yet this white boy in Tennessee can call us the N-word and we don't do nothing. And I think that they use that as like an example of we as white folks, even as they delve into the minority population-wise, can still treat black folks any old kind of way. The amount of disrespect that I've just witnessed like professionally, of how white folks in office settings and corporate settings can blatantly disrespect somebody black and we just take it. Yet that same black employee will cuss out their black manager or cuss out their black boss with no problem. But if the white coworker says something that's egregious or offensive, it's wild. It's like the mentality is still stuck with us, that we're still afraid of them. Still afraid of them. Take a break, come back. I'm not getting to the Obama story yet, but I gotta. Michelle just need to leave him alone. Bob Bauman wants to do something that we suggested here. Put a fence up around Water Street. We've been saying that here on my show for all year. And I use Beale Street as a reference. You guys remember that, right? Oh, we got to do something on Water Street because we don't need all the violence in our entertainment district, because we need people to spend money and bring their wallets. And if they come into town from somewhere else, we want them to go to Water Street and want them to go to the Deer District. So I suggested that we do what has worked in other cities. Now, it's unsightly, and it does give the appearance that the area is unsafe, but you gate it off. If you want to have an entertainment district that is free from trouble and violence, you gate it off. You got entry points, you got exit points. Maybe you make people pay a small nominal cover charge so then we can offset the cost of police overtime. You can wand everybody. You can make sure that nobody has a gun, but you can also assure a higher level of safety inside of the Water Street perimeter. We talked about that 6 ways from Sunday on this show. And so Bob Bauman is proposing exactly that. And it's essentially going to take people that are going out on Water Street and treat them like rats in a cage. But, it's kind of what we are. I'm going to take a break, come back. We have no idea what Alan wants to talk about. It doesn't even matter. Even if he tells you, X, what he wants to talk about. He'll probably drift. 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017 is our telephone number. Let's take a look at our poll. Do you believe the U.S. is headed into a recession is our YouTube poll for the day. Oh, the percentage went up. 96% of you think that we are headed for a recession. All the more reason for Governor Evers to not sign this proposal that would give away our state government surplus. Because if we are, in fact, headed for a recession, we're going to need those additional dollars in the state coffers to keep money flowing to counties, because they are the ones that deliver social services that become in higher demand when we are in economic recessions. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
May is Skilled Trades Month, a time to celebrate the hands-on careers that keep our communities and our economy moving forward. At Junior Achievement, students learn that great careers don't always start behind a desk. With support from Komatsu, students are exploring opportunities in skilled trades, advanced manufacturing, engineering, and technology in Milwaukee's Harbor District. Thank you, Komatsu, for helping inspire the next generation of builders, problem solvers, and innovators. Learn more at ja.org.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
On Thursday, May 28th, join Sharp for the 10th annual Unwrapped MKE from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3rd Street Market Hall. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food. Top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based education programs serving thousands of urban elementary students in schools throughout Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Make one call. That's all.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to Alan. Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
Hey, Sherwin. I'm doing all right. I'm sitting here waiting at the Family Dollar. I got to go inside and get some sugar-free butterscotch candy. Now, I was listening to you. You know what? I agree. First of all, Robin Voss has never been a conservative. I don't think he is. And he does things that just really let you know that the guy's a clown. This thing here is one of the dumbest things I've ever. I agree with you, like wholeheartely. It's one of the dumbest things that they've ever done, and they've done. It's like Republicans don't know how to win. We don't. It's like we have a losing state of mind, and it's just depressing. But yeah, that was horrible. So I agree with you on that. And what else were we talking about? Oh, you were talking about the white race. Yeah, it's everywhere you go, man. Why do you think I go like the hot?
Let me interject for a second. So you say the Republicans don't know how to win. Here's what I would say to that, Alan. They don't need to know how to win. They just need to know how to beat the Democrats. That's all
they don't even beat the Democrats.
Oh, they are with this one.
We win. No, they're not. This was the dumbest. I can't. I hate Evers. I'm going to tell you the truth. I really do. I despise him. But I can't even see where he's coming from with this stupid thing. Why would you waste that money for what? It don't make any sense. It's like throwing more money at MPS. It just don't make sense. There's no, the way to get kids is what you do. You got to pay teachers based on merit, not just because you're in a union. Oh my, I agree with you, though. I do. So there you go. You keep going. Maybe I'll end up voting for a Democrat. Who knows? I did it once. I feel like I got screwed over, but maybe I'll try it a second time.
Wait a minute. What Democrat did you vote for?
I voted for Miss Pratt. I went out and campaigned for her.
That's you voted for an alder person. Have you ever voted
a Democrat?
But if you go and vote in an alder, that's a local election. There's no partisanship. Okay.
Yes, there is. Anyway,
there's no partisanship on the county. Okay, fair enough.
I've never voted for a Democrat for a national office.
Okay. So then you never voted for technically you never voted for a Democrat then. You voted for a black woman in your aldermanic district.
Well, yeah, I guess, but I crossed the line there by personal belief.
Also, Alan,
I didn't even vote for.
Alan, hold on. You didn't have a Republican to choose from. There was no conservative running in the first aldermanic district. So if you were to vote for an alderperson to represent you in your district, you only had Democrats to choose from. That don't count.
Yeah, but we had more than one. We had the guy who became a traitor. What's his name? The black dude who was coming, asking me to help him. I switched over from him to Miss Pratt because the guy lied. And then he started talking about how much he hated white people. And I went and told him at his house. I'm like, well, I hate to tell you, buddy, but I'm white. And here's your dang signatures I got. And I kind of tore them up and left.
I don't know who you're referring to, but they're probably a Democrat too.
Yeah, so. You'll find him. You'll find him. He was independent. And he wouldn't listen to no advice about nothing. He wanted to get interviewed and at a network, didn't even know how to go about it. He ran the whole thing silly.
All right, thank you,
kind of a community. Anyway, Thank you, my friend. I got to go in here and get this stuff. I'll see you next. By the way, let me give another shout out to the corned beef place up here on North Teutonia, right north of the McDonald's off of Good Hope. Just keep going. They are fantastic. The girl gave me an extra. She gave us an extra Reuben roll the other day. Always gives me a smile when I come in. It's a great place to go.
All right, thank you very much.
I got another one on. Thank you. God bless you, man. That's my shopping report. The economy's going good for us, I guess. I don't know. Money's coming from the market. I can't explain that either, though. I can't.
All right, then. All right, thank you very much. All right, have a good day. Okay, then. All right, I can't get mad at him because how often do I say, I'm going to break? 10 minutes later. Going to break. Republicans hold a 54-seat majority in the Assembly where 50 votes are needed for passage. The Senate presents a tougher challenge. Republicans hold an 18-seat majority there, and 17 votes are needed for passage. All right, whatever. City leaders to discuss security perimeters at Milwaukee entertainment districts. Oh, plural, maybe more than one. Are they going to fence off Brady Street, too? Brady Street has come full circle. So in the 90s, so I got my driver's license in 1991, and I was really able to explore the city when I got my license. And Brady Street was to be avoided. So all of the businesses you see now, all the bars, all the restaurants that you see on Brady Street, it wasn't like that back then. That's where the junkies hung out. It was heroin junkies, and you had to watch where you walked because in the gutter, you would see discarded needles. Now, you got to keep in mind, 1991, and that's AIDS time. You know what I mean? So Brady Street was disgusting. But what investment can do and what business improvement districts can do and what funding allocations can do, there's a whole generation of people that are alive right now that don't recall what Brady Street used to be. Bayview, too. Bayview was no destination. Bayview, well, still kind of is where the most racist white people lived and almost wanted to create their own white utopia. There's a lot of people that think Bayview is its own city. It's not. It's a neighborhood in the city of Milwaukee. So a lot of the civil rights marches in Milwaukee, Father Groppe and Vel Phillips and others, the NAACP Youth Council, that were marching for fair and open housing, they were marching against the housing covenants that I often read on this program. I make it a point to read them every 3 or 4 months just so people can get the policy perspective of why Milwaukee is segregated. It was written down into law. When we would have these civil rights marches from the north side to the south side, we were marching into Bayview. The archival footage shows these white folks in Bayview holding up swastikas, white power, white pride signs, iron crosses, KKK insignia. So when my parents came to Milwaukee, that is what they knew of the South Side and of Bayview. And of course, because that is what my parents knew of the South Side and Bayview, I was told to avoid it at all costs. Now look at Bayview. Bayview has got a bar that is the only bar that I'm aware of that is not black-owned. Even black-owned bars have taken out their Black Lives Matter signs and placards out of the window. Talk about full circle. Brady Street used to be a place that nobody wanted to hang out. And now, not only is it a destination, it's overrun by black people. So much so that they have to put in additional security measures to protect the businesses. It's just amazing how these how history just does these weird flip-flops. Milwaukee leaders are discussing creating security perimeters around downtown entertainment districts. Alderman Robert Bauman, who represents the downtown district, sponsored a measure at Wednesday's Public Works Committee meeting, that must be this morning, that directs multiple city agencies to draft a plan to create security zones in entertainment districts. So let me just say this. I'm all for it. You got to do something. They tried the food truck idea. You guys didn't like that. I didn't know you guys got you so much food from food trucks. I was actually shocked at the number of people that usually don't chime in on local political issues that got outright mad. Oh my God, they're closing the food trucks at 10 o'clock. So hang on a second. Just help me understand this for my own edification. I'm going to say this, and I really am going to go to break. I promise I will. I'm not going to be like Alan. I thought we want more grocery stores. Isn't that the thing? Because we have food deserts. We need more grocery stores where you can get the fresh fruits and the vegetables and the produce. So we really want more grocery stores. Okay, if we want more grocery stores, are we getting our food from food trucks or grocery stores? Because I was just shocked at the number of people. How dare you close the food trucks at 10 o'clock? First of all, who in the hell is going to Water Street to a food truck? Unless you're already down there. And a lot of the people that chimed in don't go down to Water Street and hang out. But it's citywide, though. Maybe that has something to do with it. So it wasn't just the Water Street food trucks. It's all the food trucks everywhere in the city. Got to be shut down by 10 o'clock. But worry not. A Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge, Gene Keys, one of those judges, put a restraining order on the city's ordinance to shut the food trucks down. So guess what? The food trucks can now stay open till 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning. So there you go. Disaster reverted. But that plan was proposed. Well, let's close the food trucks or make them close at 10 o'clock, because if you have an element hanging out on Water Street specifically, that's causing a lot of problems, and there's fights, and there's street takeovers, and there's even shootings. And a lot of them are not of age, so they're not even going into the bars and helping those bars make money and make revenue. Well, you don't want to make it a comfortable place for those loiterers to hang out. So you take away the food trucks, because if you're trying to clear an area out, don't make it a big open-air restaurant. And then I understand the attempt, but it wasn't a very popular idea. I'm always in favor of, damn it, I said I was going to break. I need more discipline. There are things that other cities have done that have been successful, but for some reason, Milwaukee thinks that it can't do what's worked somewhere else, including educating black children. Whole bunch of places had a problem with low levels of reading and reading comprehension and math comprehension, and they were able to turn that stuff around. But not us here. No, we can't do what works somewhere else. That would just be too commonsensical. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with two. It's buy one, get one half off throughout May at Nicobani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land the perfect two-piece set? Now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, graduation, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nicobani's. Second floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout May at Nicobani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So it looks like, at least on its face, the city of Milwaukee is considering gating or fencing at least one entertainment district. I guess the food truck proposal wasn't quite very popular. Quotes, "The trend we're on with the violence on Water Street is very, very concerning," Alderman Bauman said. "If the perception takes hold that downtown is somehow unsafe and dangerous, that perception will be very difficult to dislodge." Bauman said the plan would examine different options the city could consider to secure the perimeters of any entertainment district, including Water Street and Brady Street. It would be an 8-foot fence would it be an 8-foot fence like the Republican convention? Those very nasty, evil-looking black heavy steel fences? Or would it be something more delicate, shall we say? And would it be effective? And what's the experience of other cities that have tried this? Bauman said. So years ago, and I don't know if they do this anymore, the way our council, so they have these different budgets, right? And so they have a travel budget, which if you would see some of the trips that our council members take, they go to other cities and they go party. It's weird. So back in the day, so when I worked for city government, good God, 22 years ago? Am I really that old? Yikes. Members of the council would go to other cities to look at how they implement different plans, different policing strategies, how they implement like safety plans, etc. They would take trips to, I don't know, Houston or Dallas or New Orleans, or they would look at how other cities handle safety and security when it comes to big festivals. They would take these travel junkets and they would come back and try to implement those ideas here. But they would go to other cities and talk to other mayors and talk to other members of the council and talk to other members of state legislatures from other regions in the country, and they would bring some of those best ideas back. This doesn't happen. I got a pet peeve with that because Milwaukee clearly doesn't have all the answers. Because a lot of times we're just asking you all what the hell we should do. Our elected officials don't know, but there's also this, I'm seeing the erosion of decorum, and I know when I bring this up, some members of the council get upset, and I really don't care. It should be your steadfast honor to serve constituencies in the city of Milwaukee. It should be. They chose you to represent them and to protect them and to help them. and to handle our legislative affairs. This is a very, very big deal. And I know that we may diminish the role because members of the council aren't doing what we want them to do, or we're looking at all the crime that still exists and we're diminishing them, saying, oh, they're no good, they're terrible people, they're not doing enough, especially the black ones. Oh, the black elected officials aren't doing enough for black people. There was a time where you would never catch a member of the council wearing a hoodie and some joggers and some tennis shoes. If you were in a room, if you were in a meeting, if you were at an event, you knew who the elected officials were. Back when we had 26 county board supervisors, they dressed the part. They took their jobs seriously. And I know with this younger generation, everything is more casual. But if you are in an elected position, there is an obligation that I think that you have to be sophisticated and to show and illustrate the importance of that role. Like, if somebody works for a bank, you're a loan officer or you're a vice president, you have one of these corporate jobs, and let's say I go into the bank to get a business loan. You think that I would feel comfortable sitting down with somebody wearing some basketball shorts and a raggedy T-shirt? You know, one of them T-shirts where the neckline is all stretched out? I'd walk out. This is unprofessional. Like, I got an issue. And so with Fetterman, the Pennsylvania congressman that wears these nasty, dirty, ripped up, wholly oversized hoodies and these shorts to the U.S. Senate, the most significant and deliberative political body on planet Earth. There is no legislative grouping of people on the planet that can make more consequential decisions than the U.S. Senate. And dude shows up looking like a complete and total bum. They actually tried to pass dress code rules for the U.S. Senate because he comes looking like a complete and total greaseball. And not that I'm comparing the U.S. Senate to members of the Common Council, but there was a time where the men of the council wore shirts and ties and suits. Now, if they're out in the community, that's a little different. But it's hard to take them serious. And yeah, maybe it is a generational thing, but the importance of the job has not changed. And I would say now it's probably more important than ever because the problems that we have are so much larger. And they've gone unresolved for so long, it almost seems like they are intractable. And I want to be able to take some of these folks serious. Like, there's some that I won't even interview because they'll come here looking disheveled. At least put on a button-down shirt. Now, I ain't going to tell the women folk what to wear. But I think that the women on this council dress decidedly better than the men. Baumann said the plan would examine different options the city could consider to secure the perimeters of any entertainment district, including Water Street and Brady Street. Would it be 8-foot fences like the Republican convention, those very nasty, evil-looking black heavy steel fences, or would it be something more delicate, shall we say? What do you mean delicate, Bob? Like with chantilly lace on the fences? Let it look like a prison. No, use them big black steel. Make it look like jail. Maybe that'll deter some of the people. If Water Street is gated off and it looks like prison, then maybe some of those folks that are going down there just to cause problems and disruption, maybe they'll stay away. Now, unfortunately, the people who are partiers and revelers, they're going to be the ones trapped in the cage like some rats. But maybe it should look a little bit more menacing. Get a couple of snipers on the roof. When the Republican National Convention came to Milwaukee in the summer of 2024, crews constructed tall, dark fences that surrounded the hard security perimeter. Do you think there's a possibility that we could see those fences like we saw during the RNC just around Water Street? WISN News reporter Kendall Keys asked. Those specific kinds of fences? I certainly hope not. I don't know that I support that look, but that's a possibility, Baumann said. So then dress them up. Paint them blue and yellow and red. Baumann said the perimeters could include checkpoints. We mentioned that too. Likely for weapons, maybe even checking IDs. I'm all for this. That's exactly what we talked about on this program, and you all seem to have some agreement with it. And we may have even done a YouTube poll. You know what I need to start doing? is taking screenshots of our different YouTube polls, because once the show ends, the poll goes away. Because we have asked you all a series of questions about different directions the city of Milwaukee should move in mitigating some of these problems. In fact, I'm going to Memphis in July. I love Memphis. It's the South, but it's not too South. It's about as cosmopolitan as a mid-southern city can be. And I remember fencing on Beale Street, hell, since I've been 21. And it is what it is. But when you're there, and also there's no cars. We had, you guys remember when the people crashed through the barricades? Water Street it gets blocked off, right? Where no cars can, and I don't even know if they still do that. But it was a couple of years ago, and these two women blew through the barricade and ran over two white girls. And I think one of the white girls was down on Water Street for her bachelorette party. You guys remember this? A couple of years ago. And then we found out that the person that blew through the barricade didn't get charged. Like, they ran, like, the girl was in the hospital. Like, she was in a coma. She was all messed up. I'm almost positive it was either her bachelorette party or there was a group of women that were down there. So these two women are crossing the street on Water Street, right by the barricade. The driver of the vehicle blows through the barricade and hits these two girls. And one of the women went flying because they showed the footage, the video footage of it. And then we come to find out that the drivers didn't get charged, or they got like tickets or something after they blew through a barricade on Water Street and hit these two girls. And so what do we assume? We're like, oh my God, white people can get away with anything. The driver was black. It was two black girls in the car. Ain't that crazy? So maybe we do need to put up some metal fences to also keep vehicles from being able to drive up and down Water Street. I'm going to take a break, come back. We'll talk to Al from Sherman Park on the other side. If you want to be like him or Alan or anybody else who calls the show, they all dial the same number. And it's 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS
cshousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Al from Sherman Park. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about you, Sherwin?
Doing okay. What's on your mind?
Thinking back to when I was in my college days in New Orleans, the way they did it, they just blocked off like Bourbon Street and Bullards, but then you don't have any parking. So then people have to use parking garages and walk over to the areas, and maybe they could tow cars, anyone who parks, say, after 6 or 8 or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe that might be the way to do it, and maybe it would discourage some of the loitering.
Okay.
So I think it's very doable. It's just whether or not we have the fortitude to get it done. I don't think it has to be ugly with big, black 8-foot fencing.
I'm less concerned about aesthetics
blocking out the street,
and more concerned about safety. And if you're 16 years old, you just ain't got no business down there with grown folks. It's just a bad idea. And you got 15 and 16-year-olds starting fights with grown adults like that. That does not need to happen. And if you check, I like the idea of checking IDs. So to get inside the perimeter, if you want to go to a bar on Water Street, not only do you have to be of age, I want them to pay a cover charge as well, because a lot of those kids are not going to pay any money to be able to enter that entertainment district. So I'm all for it, because safety is a priority, not necessarily aesthetics. Put the fence up. Put snipers on the roof. Have dogs out there, too.
Welcome to your 50s, Sherwin.
Oh, my God, I love it. I love it so very much. Thank you for your call, Al.
All right, you have a good day.
All right, then you too. You said, maybe we should have a parking garage. LT said it was July of 2025 when those women, it was 2 women in a vehicle and they blew through a barricade. I don't know how they didn't get charged for that. That's reckless driving, right? That's not what we want people to do, to blow through the barricades. And it was 2 black girls, too. It's crazy. Let's see what we got here in the YouTube chat. Let's check our poll. Do you think that we are headed toward a recession? Oh, it's gone down a little bit. 94% of you think that we are headed toward an economic recession. I think I'd go ahead and call that a consensus, because there's no way that we aren't headed toward jobs are already laying people off. But spending is still really, really high. But, of course, that's going to hit a wall, because your discretionary spending is going to have to go down, like, going out to dinner and that kind of stuff. That's the real gauge of the economy. And it seems like you all are still going out to dinner, because I'm seeing a review of a new restaurant opening up in Milwaukee just about every single day. I am worried that we are reaching critical mass with restaurants. The restaurant industry in this city must be doing well. Well, you had the Michelin rating people. A Michelin rated restaurant means it's an international destination, that restaurant meets such stringent standards for quality, for service, and for food, because like the Michelin is like the gold star. You got James Beard. That's if you have a James Beard. We got a bunch of those James Beard award-winning restaurants in Milwaukee, but Michelin is like the absolute pinnacle, and they were here about a couple of weeks ago, and so we're going to find out how many Michelin-rated restaurants we have here in the city of Milwaukee. A little interesting fact about how you get the whole Michelin rating things. So when automobiles were becoming the cornerstone and the centerpiece of American manufacturing, of course you've got Goodyear and Bridgestone and Dunlop, all these companies that make tires. And Michigan was like, we need people to drive more. More people are buying cars and we're building more highways. Michelin was like, okay, if people drive more, then they're going to wear their tires out faster. So let's rate restaurants all over the country. It's genius when you think about it. Let's rate restaurants all over the country so that people take road trips to visit the restaurants and wear out their tires because while they're going to these highly rated restaurants, they're driving their vehicles, they're making a vacation out of it, they're traveling across the country, and they're wearing out their tires, and they're going to buy more tires. That's marketing. Some of y'all have been to Michelin-rated restaurants in different cities. Some of you have driven to them. Some of you, I have Michelin tires on my vehicle. There you go. Go figure. It's funny how the world works. I was going to give you guys some information about how the recession, which you clearly believe that we are either in or headed toward, how it will impact local government and state government, because earlier in the program I tried to make the case that spending our government surplus ahead of an economic recession is a very, very bad idea. And there's also this weird connection. I shouldn't say it's weird. Everything is connected, weird or not. In bad economic times, crime goes up. I want to draw a direct connection between economic recession, mass layoffs, higher levels of unemployment, and increasing crime. And it's not just people going hungry because they're unemployed and they're stealing, whatever. I mean, that's some of it. But a lot of the social services that we have that are delivered through county government will shutter, or they will be underfunded, and they will not be able to support the numbers of people that they'll need to, especially if we head toward economic recession and more people are reliant on some of these social services. The social services that we have right now, and they kind of play in the background, and I probably should give you guys a list of all the different social services and anti-poverty programs that are issued by Milwaukee County, but that's what counties do. They take money and get money from the state. Counties are almost complete functions of state government. But because Madison can't deliver resources and services effectively and efficiently in all of the 1,851 cities and towns in Wisconsin, we set up county governments to deliver those services right there in those counties, you see. But state government is the vehicle that funds these services. And as the economy worsens and there's less sales tax revenue, because during a recession people are spending less, there is less income tax revenue if people are not working. That's less revenue that goes to these social services that counties deliver. The reason why we don't have 10 homicides per day instead of, 10 per week is because those services are well funded and you're keeping some people off of the streets. You're getting people some of the drug rehabilitation that they may need. But when those services lose their funding in an economic recession, the surplus that we have could supplement those services. But if you spend the surplus, then we're out here booty butt naked. Brandon's on line one, but I only got 40 seconds until I have to take a break, so we're not going to talk to Brandon right now. But Brandon, you stay there. We're going to take our little intermission, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Brandon. So have we agreed fences on Water Street? Just fence them up? No. Xavier says no fencing on Water Street. How about German Shepherd guard dogs and lots of pepper spray and lots of tasers? I'll volunteer to tase somebody. You ever wonder what it feels like to get tased? You ever been tased before? You ever?
No.
Okay. Me either. But I certainly would tase somebody. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 19th.
Fly ball center field. It's hit well. Grisham back. It is gone!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
Got him swinging. Threw him a curveball. It's 11 Ks for Mizorowski.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in May 19th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship, because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today. Breathe better tomorrow.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I don't know why my music ain't playing. Is that my music? Oh, there it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I hope you're doing okay. Let's talk to a patiently waiting Brandon. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. What's on your mind, Brandon?
I had two comments. The first regarding the recession.
Yeah.
While I do agree that the economy is in a recession, I think our current financial outlook is more of a K-shaped economy, and what that means is higher income individuals they see their assets and wealth continue to compound and build. And it's really lower income individuals who are feeling the brunt of inflation and things like that. I mean, if you look at luxury spending, you can't get a G-Wagon right now. You can't get a Lexus truck right now. So, luxury spending is doing fine. It's the everyday person that's complaining about eggs. And then I also wanted to go into the Water Street, blockade.
Yes.
I think it'll have a chilling effect on that bar district. Almost everywhere where we've seen sort of additional impediments to using that space, people just go to other areas. Milwaukee has a tremendous amount of bars per capita. I'd also like to say that they have a very large police presence. And if they're unable to kind of maintain and keep that area safe, I think it speaks to maybe just poor policing strategy, poor political strategy. Too many of our alders think that the problems like crime and criminals, are confined to a aldermanic district, and it just doesn't work that way. The folks that are causing problems downtown are the folks that are having problems uptown. So, there needs to be a connected effort in how we see all of these things fitting together. Just putting up a fence is not going to solve really that issue. They're going to move to another area nearby, and they're going to cause chaos there. And lastly, we've got police that are able to monitor their girlfriends and their exes, via these flock cameras. It makes no sense to me that we're not able to have a better catch rate on individuals who are bad actors with all of the technology that is at their disposal. It's hard for me to believe that there's not a better way but for putting up RNC-like gates.
All right. Very thoughtful commentary, Brandon. Right. We appreciate your call.
Thank you.
All right, Brandon. Brandon hit on all cylinders. I like his reference of a K-shaped economy. I use that reference a little bit differently. So think of the letter K laying flat. So you have the line of the K is horizontal, and then you have like that V, which is the V shape of the K. That means that we'll see all-time high stock market and stock prices, which we saw. Boom, the stock market absolutely plummets and it drops. And then boom, it shoots right back up again. That is more of an accurate description of a K-shaped economy. And he's right. Luxury spending has exploded because people at the top are making insane amounts of money. Here's the problem. You cannot base your entire economy, your entire GDP on very, very wealthy people spending a lot of money. And they're spending billions, if not trillions, right? They're buying private planes and all sorts of stuff. That cannot support an entire economy. It can, like, temporarily, but overall, we do need people who are the bottom 95% of income earners to spend money as well, especially on consumer goods. I think that there are people that would get used to fencing on Water Street, and Brandon said, they'll go somewhere else. Where are they going? Go to Brady Street, going to see the same fencing. People will get used to it. And also, if you're downtown for a Bucks game, or if you're downtown because you saw a show at the Marcus Center, at the Riverside, at the Paps, if you're in the 3rd Ward because you went to something at the Skylight Theater, you're still going to get food and to go grab some drinks in those other entertainment districts. And if the area is gated and you know that there are no guns because they're metal detecting for all the guns and maybe people got to pay a little bit of money to get inside the gated area, people would feel safer. And money needs to feel safe. Like, people won't spend their money where they don't feel safe. Also, we got to stop thinking that police are going to solve all this. I want less police on Water Street. Back in the day, the beat was 2 cops and they would just walk up and down Water Street. There was no police barricades. There was no squad cars blocking the street. It was 2 cops that were just walking around on Water Street. Do y'all know that we have a homicide problem in this city? We got a violent crime problem in this city. We have an aggravated assault and battery problem in this city. If we have a whole bunch of cops on Water Street, that's not where they're supposed to be. And I was telling my producer this a little while ago, and we can flood the area with police officers if you think that's going to stop them kids. Because even if you have, let's say you got 50 cops, which would be insane, you'll have 500 people. What are 50 cops going to do? You might have 1,000 people. What are 50 cops going to do? And so if we believe that, if we just have a bigger police presence and we put this on policing, somebody's going to get shot, a woman's going to get raped, somebody's going to commit an arson, and we won't have the police officers to respond because they're sitting around on Water Street babysitting somebody's children. There need to be less police. So meaning if we can create some kind of a safety perimeter where maybe you have a cop inside the perimeter, you have 2 outside. So the rest of those police, and remember, we have far too few police as it is by state law. We need to have at least 1,650 police officers. We're nowhere near that. So if we are under the amount of police officers that we need already, that's required by state law, and we take a higher percentage of this lesser amount of cops and station them on Water Street, some of y'all's crimes ain't getting solved, and no flock cameras won't do it all. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. $500 tickets. And the mama gonna get $1,000 ticket because you have a guardian till you're 18. If the ticket is not paid, that child goes to jail for 6 months. If you file bankruptcy of any kind, it doubles. We don't have time for that. No. I'll be slapping tickets like Sodom and Gomorrah at an after set where they got nothing but Parmesan and cocaine. Ticket that ass out. They know how to show up and walk down the street with a butcher knife when somebody told their kid not to do, so you can pay that ticket today, goddammit. How about that? Number 2, Chad the Builder. Chad the Builder, to me, gives me nasty pig vibe. If your producer could be so kind, put a picture of a banana or a vanilla cone with chocolate on it. See, a lot of people like Chad who's real racist, they're usually nasty pigs, okay? Because, he used to get pegged by his black girlfriend. But see, a lot of racist
sure did.
men, a lot of them racist men like the warmth of the man's seed when they feel the head span past the second ring. Or let me say it in an educational purposes way. Prime example, if your producer is with his girlfriend and he ejaculates, she say don't pull out because she want to feel the galaxy and the warmth of his seed. Chad the Builder is going around because right now he's upset when he should have just took $600 and gave them to one of those black men and say, put that big gorilla stick up inside me and I want to feel the warmth of your seed. Because most racist men who always be on that racist nonsense be the main ones being a nasty pig toilet dumpster for the black man ejaculation, because it's about the warmth and the penetration of the mental vibration. So that's the only reason that's going on. But yeah, all you got to do, $500 tickets. Mama get $1,000 ticket. Daddy ain't around. We won't find him. Slap him on one. And then if the ticket is not paid, the son or daughter go to jail for 6 months, put them in some rehabilitation thing. If she file bankruptcy, the ticket will double. But don't get upset about Chad the Builder, because he's a fairy. He just want to spread that pussy up in the telly. You hear me? You probably want to play fairy for him. Or that song, Jig Entertainment, telly. He just want to spread it. He's just having some frustrations. Now, y'all have yourself a good day. And make sure you put an extra sour cream on that taco. Extra. Bye-bye, y'all.
Jeez.
Bye, Al.
I don't have a girlfriend, by the way.
There's a black woman who approached Chud the Builder while he was looking for victims, I guess. And he admitted to knowing her and admitted to their relationship because he's filming while he's walking around downtown Nashville. And she basically came up to him and cornered him and was like, yeah, dude, I know you're not racist. You used to let me peg you. And he didn't deny it. So usually with those kind of people, it's always some, they're torn. They have this cognitive dissonance because they hate how much they love black men. And it bothers them so much because everything they have been taught about us should make them hate us more. And they're trying to deal with the fact that they love us so much, but they're supposed to hate us. And Al is 100% right. They have these desires and these urges for us because let's be clear. Sexuality just exudes from the black man's soul. And it ain't just women that's attracted to it. And they feel so awful. And a lot of them actually are in the closet and gay. And so you have to do things to make it seem like you aren't gay. And so if I really hate these men that I love so much, if I hate them and if I call them names, then nobody will think or know that I'm secretly in love with them. That's a lot of times it's projection. Like they hate the fact that they feel this way. So I gotta hate you, black man, because you make me feel this way. I love you. I want to smell your cologne.
Side note, there are photos of Chud the Builder on the internet because he is a former femboy, if you know what that is.
Pretty self-explanatory. So then there you go. We just explained it. But the whole thing with him is just I guess I was disappointed by the reactions of black men that get called the N-word by a white guy. I think that's my whole thing with him. I'm not trying to have some like grand philosophical analysis of the situation because I know that we used to kick white boys' butts if they called us the N-word and they didn't do it anymore. And then everybody just went on about their business. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I travel all around the world, Dr. Ken, and when I tell you, based on my experiences, this is like the number one country that cares. Like everything is about money. Yep. Everything.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I've told people in the past, you have to be careful of what you complain about and what you use as a tool because other people will take it and use it in the wrong way.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
Outfitting your team? Planning an event? That's a whole lot of moving pieces, and your custom apparel shouldn't be one of the headaches. At Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more, you get more than just printed shirts. You get a local partner who helps you design it, order it, and gives you the confidence that will all come together on time. From team gear to company events, no job is too big. Big Frog delivers quality, guidance, and a smooth experience from start to finish. Skip the guesswork. Go local. Come see us in Mequon or just jump online. bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Join March for Babies to improve the health of families. The U.S. is among the most dangerous nations for childbirth. With your help, we can tackle America's maternal and infant health crisis. Join us in Milwaukee on May 16th at 9 a.m. at Greenfield Park in West Dallas for this powerful community event. Connect with families, friends, and coworkers while raising critical funds. Every step counts. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
A recession in the United States would hit Wisconsin in a very direct and visible way. because Wisconsin's economy depends heavily on manufacturing, consumer spending, agriculture, tourism, construction, and state/local government employment. When people lose jobs or fear losing jobs, they spend less money. When people spend less money, businesses make less money. When businesses make less money, government collects less tax revenue. When government collects less tax revenue, services get cut. That cycle can become especially painful in Wisconsin because counties and municipalities rely heavily and sometimes solely on state aid and shared revenue from Madison. How Wisconsin gets hurt during a recession. So this is me predicting and projecting into the future. If we are, in fact, either in or heading toward a recession, because prices are still going to go up, spending is going to go down, corporate layoffs are going to continue to go up, more layoffs, less people working, less income tax revenue at both the federal and the state level, less state revenue, less sales tax revenue, less funding to counties that provide counties the ability to offer services to people who are oftentimes impacted by that recession. It's a crazy cycle. Manufacturing gets hit first. Wisconsin is America's most manufacturing-dependent states. Major industries include machinery, auto parts, paper products, food processing, heavy equipment, and industrial tools. Companies slow production quickly during a recession because businesses and consumers stop buying durable goods. This means layoffs at factories, warehouses, trucking firms, suppliers, rail and shipping operations. Even workers who keep their jobs often lose overtime, bonuses, and hours. Wisconsin was hit hard during the 2008 recession because manufacturing employment collapsed nationwide. Unemployment rises. When unemployment rises, fewer people pay Wisconsin income taxes, fewer people buy goods subject to sales tax, more people need public assistance. Wisconsin relies heavily on income and sales taxes for state revenue. Individual income taxes alone make up a major portion of Wisconsin's general fund revenue. How come none of the gubernatorial candidates are talking about this? I listened to a couple of the candidates. Well, Joel Brennan said that Wisconsin's not ready for a non-white governor, so there's that. But it's almost like when they're talking about their campaign platforms as far as what they want to do and what they prioritize, if they get elected governor, it sounds like they're running in a different state. The immediate need right now is shielding Wisconsin and Wisconsin industries and workers from an economic recession. That should be the conversation. Assuming that there won't be any productive economic policies coming from the federal government, because Trump will let this country burn before he works with the Democratic Party that is going to impeach him. Because he's going to take that personal. Because, like Brandon said, very wealthy people are doing fantastic. If this nation falls into recession, do you think Donald Trump even cares? He is perfectly fine. He's got countries giving him jets. I wish the country would give me a jet. Foreign countries, if you're listening, it doesn't even have to be a big one. Let me see. The G550 is nice. I'll take that. I don't need a 747. I don't need a Boeing. Too much maintenance. Boeing is too big. Give me a G550. You know, like a 14 to 20 passenger G550. That's fine. Because I'll accept. I wish one of y'all would tell me to turn down a jet from a foreign country. I'll fly right over your house. I'll talk to somebody who's never going to fly in my private jet. What do you want, Bob?
Sherwin, how you doing? Listen, it seems like you're eager or anxious to tase somebody, because you said when you got off the air, I'll tase somebody. So, look, I'm sending
don't give me any ideas, because you'd be the first one. Don't give me any ideas.
No, I'm sending a few psychologists down there, because I'm sure there's policemen that haven't tased nobody, haven't shot nobody, but as much as
the kid has probably worked 29 years, but you seem so anxious to pay somebody. And, so we got to get these psychologists in to, make you slow down. I know a couple, so they'll be in sooner or later. You know what I mean? It's only one more question I had to ask you. I mean, it's not the time, but
it's never the time. It's never the time. What's the question?
I need to know that very articulate woman that you were supposed to go out with last weekend. Did you go out with her? Did you talk to her?
No. No.
You didn't?
No. I decided not to. That's not a good look.
Sherwin, if she's 30 or up, you talk to her. If she's under 30, that's on you. I gotta be cool with that. And then if she don't have no kids, you can have a kid with her. You young enough. You're not young, but you're not old either. You're mid-age. You can't find no woman like. Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off. When you get my age, I had a wonderful era. But that's the only thing that I miss. Seeing these real pretty young ladies, and I can't talk to one of them because I'm too old. It's the only thing. So don't get my age, and then you can't hardly talk to none of them. Because, and they're so pretty and look nice, and they do themselves up just for men to look at them and sometimes for themselves. And other than that, sir, and I will talk to you later, sir, with your aggravating tasing behind.
I love the poorly educated.
Not only would I tase Bob, I'd bring an extra battery. Just because I don't know if one jolt will do it. I'm just not sure if people, their mind gets right when they ride that lightning. You can just see an instantaneous change in their behavior. Let me address because Al brought this up as well, writing tickets. If you give tickets to people that are loitering, and you absolutely can. And then Al even mentioned, well, you give the parents tickets as well. Because maybe there should be some parental responsibility. I don't know if that's going to do any good because the parents in a lot of cases are already showing a lack of responsibility, and a ticket is not automatically and all of a sudden going to get a parent to change their mind. You give a parent a $500 ticket or a $1,000 ticket or whatever, they're not going to say, wow, I really need to take more time to spend with my child. I need to work with them and, consider different types of discipline and maybe listen to what my child actually needs to become successful. A ticket is not going to do that. An example that I gave when we were off air is, let's say on any one particular night in the summer, the police issue, I'm going to do a realistic number, 50 citations to young people who are, and it could be old people too, I guess, out past curfew, or if they're loitering, or having an unlawful assembly, let me call it that. And they issue 50 tickets on Brady Street. They're starting to head into Bayview now because there was a street takeover in Bayview. And let's say they issue another 50 tickets, people standing around and observing these street takeovers. So that's 50 tickets in Bayview. And then another 50 tickets that they may issue to just a bunch of people standing around smoking weed on Water Street after bar times. That's 150 tickets the police can issue in a single night. That's a Friday night, okay? Saturday night, whole nother crop of people. Brady Street, Bayview on KK, because a whole bunch of bars and restaurants on KK. And I'm just using these as examples because they're well-known landmarks in the city. And then on Saturday night, everybody congregates on Water Street again. I'm talking about one of them warm summer nights where it's 85, 90 degrees at night and nobody wants to be in the house and everybody and their mama is out. And then the police issue another 150 tickets, 50 tickets respectively on each of those three, in those three entertainment districts, okay? That's one weekend, it's 150 tickets. Let's do that every single weekend until the weather starts to get a little cold. And now Hell, it don't get cold till November. So let's just say 2,500 tickets were issued this upcoming summer as we are predicting and projecting into the future. Do you know what that's going to do to the municipal court system? Remember, we only have 3 branches of municipal court. An additional 2,500 citations is an additional 2,500 court dates, considering the current backlog of court cases. We will inundate the court system to such a degree that those tickets may end up never getting paid because the court dates will be pushed out till the following summer. So that's not going to be a solution, because what will happen is somebody will say, oh, wow, that's a really good idea. We heard that on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Let's have the police just issue a bunch of citations. And they issue citations. They try that this summer. Let's say the food trucks remain closed at 10 o'clock. They fence and they gate up Water Street, and they do the ticketing. We got 2,500 or 3,000 new court dates at the end of the summer. Then we realize people that may have, already scheduled court dates are going to get moved. They're going to get changed. People are going to be inconvenienced. You got to take time off of work because there's this influx of 2,500 new court dates split amongst 3 judges. And then come 2027, we're going to realize, wow, that was really stupid to issue all of those citations in 2026 because now we inundated the court system. We'd have to give more funding to the courts. We'd have to open up different branches of the court. We'd have to do night court. All that would get more expensive. It's going to end up costing us more money. And then the city is going to be like, hey, we're broke. We can't fill the potholes. We can't remove the snow. And we need another tax referendum. Let's talk to... Actually, let me take a break, because this one tends to be long-winded. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dreaming of owning your first home? Don't settle for a fixer-upper. Build a brand new home with Milwaukee Habitat for Humanity. They partner with first-time buyers to make home ownership possible with little to no down payment and a team that's on your side every step of the way. Even if you're just starting to explore what's possible, they're here to help you take the next step. If your household earns between $55,000 and $90,000 a year, you may qualify. Visit MilwaukeeHabitat.org to learn more.
Join me every Friday at 11 a.m. for the Milwaukee Experience with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee. We're a city that knows how to celebrate, where the calendar is packed with festivals, the plates are piled high with flavor, and a lakefront sunrise sets the stage. Here in Milwaukee, every street leads to something worth savoring, a place that welcomes you with open arms and where joy is shared in bites, beats, and cheers. The Milwaukee Experience every Friday at 11 a.m. exclusively on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, presented by Visit Milwaukee.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth Community Spotlight today at 3:57 p.m. We will be speaking with Nicole Lorino, the 2026 chair for March for Babies. She will discuss how March for Babies brings families and caregivers together to support healthier moms, stronger babies, and life-saving NICU care through the March of Dimes. Again, the Community Spotlight today with the March of Dimes at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 1017 The Truth.
Good morning, Sherwin. It's only been 6 minutes and 56 seconds I've been on hold. Well, you do that to me all the time.
Oh,
No
Lisa,
problem.
that's
I'm
nothing.
used to it.
If you're on hold for 6 minutes, that is, consider yourself lucky.
No, yeah, I do. I truly do. But yesterday when I did call, my intentions, I did what I did because I do what you do. Since we tend to follow people, since you tend to hang up on me, I hung up on you. I had to say what I had to say, and that's it, because I know you're going to hang up on me anyway.
Lisa, why would you call and act like you a kid? Like, why would you call a radio show where we're talking about very important topics and call just to hang up on me? Come on now. Grow up.
Well.
And I just hung up on her. Well, like, what? Don't play with what we do here.
She's trying to flirt.
Yeah. I don't want to mispronounce this person's name. Daryl? Daryl?
You got it right. You got it absolutely right. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you? What's on your mind, Daryl?
I'm all right. I actually have two things I want to talk about. First of all, that Chad the Builder situation. I am a little amazed watching those videos because I just can't believe that black folks is just allowing him to walk away scot-free. It amazes me. I can literally remember every time a white person has called me the N-word. And I can remember when we was down in Marquette and some white guy did it, and he still might be in the hospital. And this is about 20 years ago. So it amazes me that nobody reacts. And I've even seen some guys shake his hand. So I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, are we proving the point? Are we proving the point that we don't always fight people? But like you said, and like other people talk about, you know, we draw down on each other real quick for anything.
That's right.
I was watching a video where this brother got shot by undercover police in a gas station because he got mad at another black man who didn't say hello to him. He said what's up to him. Guy said, I don't even know you. Why are you saying what's up to me? So he pulled out like a fake gun in the store, and there happened to be an undercover cop in there, and they shot and killed him. And it was a toy. It was a toy gun. But that just seems to be the energy with each other. So I don't know what's up there, Sharon. I'm still trying to figure it out. Hopefully somebody will bring our manhood to it, because it makes us look weak as a whole race. And
that's what he's trying to illustrate, and he's doing a very, very good job of that. Because my thing is, if you know what he's doing, because now everybody knows, like, that he says it to try and get a response, either ignore it altogether and keep on moving, because then his content is less effective if he says it and then nobody pays attention to him. The problem is he'll say it to groups of African-American young men, and they threatening him. And they say, oh, yeah, come back around here at 7 o'clock and say that mess. Like they're engaging with him at the same time they're not doing anything. So if you're not going to do anything, don't even say nothing to do. Because if you say something to him and start yelling and screaming at him, then you need to have some action behind that.
It makes us look worse.
I know.
And I don't know what's up with the Gen Xers. I don't know what's up with them. It's like they don't get mad with things they should be mad about, and they get upset about things that don't even matter. I don't get it. But the other question I did want to ask you is, do you know what the game plan is for us as far as the redistricting going down in the South? Are we going to be boycotting? Do we have someone who's willing to put some political capital into this and say, hey, this is what we're going to do? Have you heard anything?
No. So I don't think there's a national strategy yet. So in the meantime, I think that those southern states, Mississippi in particular, Louisiana also, are going to have to take it on the chin until we do our next census. The good news is the next census is in about 3.5 years, where we do our population count and then maps are redrawn. Hopefully by then we also have a new federal legislature and we have a new president of the United States. I believe it's going to be temporary. Don't quote me on that, but we get to redraw maps and redo the entire thing every 10 years, and we're coming to the end of the current census cycle. And so when the next census cycle comes up, there's an opportunity to redraw maps. Here's the tough thing. The Democrats would be much more likely to draw fairer maps because they are being districted out of some of these states altogether. The Democrats need to hold at least a federal majority by the year 2030 when we draw those new maps. If that's the case, then what is happening in the short term will be reduced and remedied by new maps that will be drawn in 2030. But in the short period of time, I think that's why there's not a national strategy, because there's not enough time to put one together. Now, I looked at it a different way. Basically, the Supreme Court said, they didn't totally gut the Voting Rights Act. I think some people got a little overzealous in our explanation. It just means that you can't use race in drawing district boundaries. There will be a point in time where the white majority becomes the minority, and the brown majority of people will be able to use this same strategy and make sure that there are no majority white districts. So if we play the long game, ultimately this hurts the new minority in this country, which is going to be white folks. So we can take the pain in the short term. We can look at how we can redraw maps in 2030 when we have the next census, or you leave it as is, and you might have the state of California. If it's not there, it will be very soon, a majority black, brown, and Asian state. Imagine if there's no majority Caucasian district in California, and every single state legislative district and congressional district in California was headed up by someone that was Asian, that was black, and that was Hispanic, and there's no majority white district. Then New York would follow suit. Because that's what the future actually is. No more white people, and imagine no more white representation in Congress. This country might actually realize its full potential if that day ever comes. So we'll see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what do you think about Texas? Do you think Texas has a good chance of becoming blue with all the diversity down there?
If people register and vote. Now, some of the diversity that Texas will show on a census are not citizens. That's the problem. They might, if everybody could be registered in Texas and actually vote, then absolutely they could be a blue state, no doubt about it. But you have a whole bunch of people, because we count non-citizens in the census. So the data and the racial makeup of the population in Texas might show 51, 52, 53% non-white. But if only a fraction of those people are actual citizens and registered voters, then the racial majority isn't going to make too much of a difference. But I know Texas has been flirting with it. We'll see how these next couple election cycles go. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I know I said only 2 questions, but I guess I have 3.
That's all right.
Some people are talking about that the representation will kind of change, that we might have more white liberals representing, largely African-American districts that have been gerrymandered in with other white districts. How do you feel about that?
I think that's worse. Honestly,
I would have to agree with you on that because I'm wondering, with all this debate going on down in Tennessee, where is the guy that represents the district now, the Jewish guy? Was it Sean Cohen or something like that?
Yep, he represents Memphis.
Yeah. Where has anybody seen him? Is he alive? Does he have a pulse? He hasn't been out front trying to fight this. And that's why I think it's always best to have someone who understands you, understands the community, represents you.
Here's the
How do you
interesting
feel
thing
about
about that. So I actually have a personal connection to that congressional district in Memphis. It used to be the 9th. I'm not sure if the district number has changed because my cousin was considering running for Congress in that district. Ultimately, he didn't pull the trigger on his congressional run. But here's the thing about Representative Cohen, who has no business representing Memphis whatsoever. But voter turnout is so incredibly low. The handful of white folks, and especially the Jewish community, because Representative Cohen is Jewish, they vote in a high enough number to outpace the African Americans that live in the greater Memphis area that live in the 9th Congressional District. Now, I'd imagine Representative Cohen is going to be very, very quiet because here's one thing that we know for sure. The Republicans have an affection for Israel. And so if the Republicans have districted out black representation and you have nothing but Republican-led districts in Tennessee, and then you have Representative Cohen who's still representing Memphis, because dude is going to be representing Memphis until he decides to quit, retire, or he dies in office. I think that he would actually be okay with the rest of his congressional colleagues, the rest of the Tennessee delegation, being Republicans, because those Republicans will support Israel, and so does Representative Cohen.
That sounds terrible.
But you ain't hear that from me.
That sounds terrible. Right. Oh, my gosh.
But I got to go, Daryl. I got to get off the phone.
Man, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you very much. Yeah, we realized that an African-American running for Congress in Memphis, Tennessee could not beat a white Jewish guy. And Memphis is blacker than Milwaukee is. But that's where we lag. We lag in voter turnout. You know, the number of people, and I try and call them out when they call, a lot of people will have great political ideas or suggestions, or they'll tell you what politicians should be doing, what they aren't doing. And a lot of those people aren't voters. That's why I've got such a short fuse when it comes to Lisa, because Lisa will chime in with all of her great ideas. And yes, she just called. I don't know why she would think I would answer her call again. But she'll have all these political ideas, but because of her religious beliefs, she doesn't vote. And here's what's crazy. She sounds like she wants to vote and would be a very informed voter, but she is allowing her religious beliefs to interfere with her political participation, which to me is just like, I don't need a religion like that. If there's a religion that tells me that I can't vote on the future of my community, the future of my tax revenue, the future of the school district, the future of economic policy, if my religion is telling me that I can't participate in that, just for Sherwin Hughes' purposes, that's a religion that I don't need.
What's the religion?
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 1017 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your families tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Don't miss one of Milwaukee's favorite summer traditions, the U-Path Ride for Arts, presented by Miller Lite, returns Sunday, May 31st. Ride a fully closed 20-mile course across the Hone Bridge with incredible lakefront views. Kids 12 and under ride free thanks to the Brewers Community Foundation. All in support of Southeastern Wisconsin Performing Arts. 7 a.m. start, finish at U-Path Fest on Summerfest grounds. Register today at upathride.org. That's UPAFRIDE.org.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, join the March of Dimes on Saturday at 9 a.m. for the March for Babies at Greenfield Park. Come together with the Milwaukee community to support moms and babies and be a part of something that truly matters. Hundreds have already signed up, and there's still time for you to join the walk. Every step helps support healthier pregnancies and stronger families, especially for those facing the greatest barriers to care. So grab your friends, bring the family, and show up. March for Babies this Saturday at 9 a.m. at Greenfield Park. Sign up now at marchforbabies.org. And if you've been renting and wondering if homeownership is even possible for you, Axe Housing is here to help. An Axe Housing coach will help you put together a plan, create a budget, improve your credit, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying a lot less than what they are paying for rent. So don't let where you are today stop your family's bright tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is AACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home. All right, what did we learn today? A lot of y'all think we're in a recession. I think the governor is probably going to sign a proposal that spends down our state government surplus, which, unless they know a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know, and they probably do, why you would spend a surplus heading into a recession that most people believe that we are either in or heading toward, considering that when we have an economic recession, less people are working. That's less income taxes that are being paid to state government. Less people are spending. That's less sales tax revenue that is created, meaning the state budget will be less. And I would argue that Milwaukee probably needs more money, more resources. We need to expand the services that we have. We clearly need more law enforcement. And if we go into an economic recession and there's less gross receipts coming into the state budget, then that's going to be ultimately less money for Milwaukee. That's less money for anti-poverty programs and programs for those who are unemployed. Because of that recession, that's why the surplus money could help fill in some of those gaps. It's very, very simple. Typically, the whole idea of a budget and the state budget process and all the different categories and line items is probably a 1,000-page document, which nobody ever reads. But I can very easily explain how spending that surplus now on minimal property tax relief, because here's the thing, we'll spend down all that money, and what am I going to see as far as a property tax reduction? $40? Whenever you get property tax relief, like, people need to know this. For the average property tax payer in the state of Wisconsin, it's maybe $100. And then you'll have the Republicans saying, oh, this is a fantastic thing that we did. We got the budget surplus money back in your hands. There'll be a $300 tax check for individuals. If you file taxes in 2024, you'll get $300. No additional paperwork will need to be filed. They'll just look at your 2024 state income tax filing. And then families or married couples would get $600, but then the surplus would be down to zero. So the additional money that we would need to supplement some of those services that are delivered by counties would all be gone. But, oh, look, you got a $600 check or a $300 check if you're a single filer. Such a bad idea. The Assembly Republicans would be considering this, and they are considering this a win. Why we would want to give Assembly Republicans something to run on, and they should be losing their majority because they have not governed. But now they're going to have something to run on. Now, also keep this in mind. The direction that Wisconsin goes in come November is going to be decided by about 30,000 people. And if the Republicans can do just enough convincing, more like when they're running for the re-election campaigns, they're going to say, hey, believe us instead of what you actually see out in the real world. No, believe us and what we're telling you as Republicans instead of believing your bank account. I'm going to say the most honest thing about me is my bank account. My bank account don't never lie to me. You ever go out with your friends and the vibe is right? You just out there kicking it. You buying food, you getting drinks, you out there at the spot, you hanging out, everything is beautiful. You see people you ain't seen in a while. Come on over here, come sit in our section, come get a drink, I got you. And you just having a good time. You ain't thinking about that money because them drinks is just flowing. You feeling good. The DJ is playing all your favorite cuts. You just loving life. And you have the time of your life. That's one of those nights that you always remember. You know what I mean? Hanging out with your friends. Ooh, maybe you even met somebody. You met somebody new while you're out there hanging out. You wake up the next day, maybe in your bed, maybe in somebody else's. Fully dressed, but one foot has no sock and no shoe on it. It's one of those kind of nights. And you're reflecting back on the evening like, oh, it's worth it that I lost a sock and a shoe. I had a good time last night. We were eating good and drinking good. And I saw people I hadn't seen in a long time. And I even met somebody new. You're like, I don't care. I lost a sock and a shoe. And then you get curious. And you're always a little nervous because you didn't keep track of what you spent the night before because you was out there in the moment. You was living your best life. Put it on my tab. Oh, you need another drink? Hey, another round of shrimp. Let's get, oh, you want some wings? Get you some wings. I got it. It's on me. Waitress, put it on my tab. Famous last words. And then that next morning, you want to do an inventory of, what happened the previous night. You had a good time. And then you get to wondering, well, what is what's my checking account look like? And you have a dollar amount in your mind that you think you spent. Now, remember, you can't recall every drink you bought. You can't recall how many wing platters and how many shrimp platters you bought. I mean, you bought a few. Then you had a couple of people that also took the liberty of getting a few more drinks, maybe a couple shots on your tab. It's all good. We out here living our best life. We in the moment. And you think to yourself, okay, I'll probably spend $100. I'm going to call my banker. I'm going to look at the little website. I'm going to look at my checking account. I'll probably spend about $100. Because the amount of money that you think you spent is a gross underestimation. And as you're pulling up the website, checking your balance in your account, you're like, you know what? If I spent $120, that's okay with me because I had the time of my life. We was ordering wing platters and shrimp platters, and we was getting drinks. We was getting shots. You met somebody new. Ooh, you had a good old time. So if you spent $120, worth it to you. $392, your account is negative $15. That's honesty for you. Because that bank account is not going to lie. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please stay tuned for Kyle Wallace and Truth to Power.
come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something